Here we go again. I mean, are you really shocked? So 1917 drops, and it's actually getting really good reviews. Audiences seem to like it. It dethroned Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and it got nominated for a bunch of awards. I think it's got a couple Oscar nominations. It looks like a great movie. When I talked about it in my last video, where I talked about how it took Rise of Skywalker down, and this is now the number one movie, and I asked people, what'd you think about it? A lot of people said they thought it was a good movie. I still haven't seen it yet. I might go today. I'm going to try and see it today, actually, I think. If not, I'll see it sometime this week. I do intend to go see it, because this is the kind of movie that I actually like. I like good war movies. So I'm looking forward to watching it. However, you know, the certain crowd, they're coming out after it. Two people in particularly I want to go over. One, because it doesn't have enough women. Basically, she says that they need to insert them into it. Like, you need to change it. Just because in World War One it was men on the battlefield, that doesn't mean that the story needs to be told like that. You can insert women. And then one guy from Salon, he writes a really bad review on it. Well, you know, because this kind of movie could help Trump. That's right. We got to take this movie down because it's the election year or something. It's really strange. So, you know, these people, they see weird shadows, and for some reason the shadow doesn't have enough women in it. Or they start seeing every shadow as orange. That's a thing that's also possible. These people I just don't get them. I really don't. But anyway, let's take a look at some of this stuff. So let's start here. This is a screenwriter, by the way. And into blocking people, she, her. So she says, I'm not upset that there weren't many women in the movie 1917. I effing get that there were not very many women in the trenches. The question is, why does that story keep getting told? Because, well, actually, let's be clear about something. There's not very many World War I movies that get told in the first place. I want to point that out real quick. When's the last time we got a World War I movie? I'm not even sure. So really, that story doesn't get told that often. But that's not why she's mad. And I want to point out, she hasn't even seen the movie. She hasn't even seen the movie. And she's just out here blasting it. There's not enough women in it. How would you know? How would you know? You haven't seen the movie. So you don't even know. And, you know, I don't know if there is or not either. But then she continues on. If you think there weren't fascinating women's only or female femme-dominated spaces in this world with their own stories to be told, you're delusional. Well, then you're a screenwriter. Write that story and see if it does well. And here's the thing. I just did a video on this yesterday. You know, if they put these movies out and no one goes and sees them, you know, then they start blaming dudes, which is stupid. And like, well, you're a bad person because you didn't want to go see that movie. This is dumb. Continues on. Folks, I'm not even upset or mad or whatever that 1917 got made. I'm sure it's great. That's outside the question at hand, which is where are the stories about not white men's lives and why are they still getting made? I know the answers. I want more people to ask the questions. This is a movie about two British soldiers. See, now you're going to see the responses because it's all like-minded people. And you go on there. Except for Fedora the Horrible. I know who he is. He has a funny comment. So we got this guy. Yep. Also, the fact that literally millions of Africans and East Asians were sent from the colonies to fight in Europe. But we almost never see them in these movies. Just a sea of white faces. Yes. So, we got this one. That's one of the things I really liked about Little Women. It's a war movie in a way as well. Just focused on how, like, 90% of the population experiences war, which is deprivation and hardship and not knowing if your loved ones will make it home instead of in the actual fighting. And it's literally a sea of comments like this. So we're mad because it focuses on two Caucasian British people, okay, and that they didn't insert women on the front lines, or that it wasn't about women at home or something. So once again, we have somebody going crazy over this stuff. But here's the really funny one. So this guy writes the article I'm about to take a look at. Look at this glorious ratio. And this dude has 2,000 followers, and he's a blue check, works for Salon, and he gets ratioed because, well, 1917 has one major flaw. It's irresponsibly nationalistic. So, good response here. A movie about British soldiers somehow made you say Orange Man bad. Exactly. So he's mad that people are complaining about what he wrote. And I mean, how can you be mad about it? You're literally taking a World War I movie and saying Orange Man bad. But let's take a look. I just wanted to point out that glorious ratio. So this goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video with being scared of your own shadows. Seeing orange shadows. These people literally see everything in shades of orange. So this guy goes and watches 1917, and the first thing that he sees in the movie is Orange Man bad. And this has to do with the fact that it has one major flaw, that it's irresponsibly nationalistic. I got newsflash for you, man. Every war uses this. It's to get a sense of pride in your nation so that you'll support the cause. World War II was really famous for this. I mean, that people were buying war bonds and stuff like that, wanting to do their part, to help the boys out. That's just the way it is. And then, too, I don't get this big fight against this whole concept. Like, what's wrong with loving your country? I don't understand that. I don't care what's going on, over in Europe. That's none of my business, first off. And, I'm pretty anti, let's go and poke around in other people's business. I don't like being over in the Middle East, for example, at all. I wish we would just take care of ourselves in all things. And I think a lot of people agree with that mindset, to be honest. But, here we are. So this guy's mad because, well, the whole thing with the Orange Man campaign is his whole, shtick, and I agree with that part of it, is that we should take care of our own things first. We should worry about ourselves and our own self-interest as a country. I don't see the problem there, to be honest. But because, in World War I and II and every other single war, patriotism and nationalism is a big thing. Well, now we're thinking about the Orange Man's whole America First slogan and all this stuff. It's really strange. So this guy sees this and he's uncomfortable about it. In fact, he can't recommend this movie now. He liked it, but he's weary to recommend the movie because, well, it makes him think about Orange Man bad. And as you can see from the side for their trending articles, they're obsessed with his being. in the entire website. Salon, by the way, really, really famously bad hot takes. You can look up this, I think his name was like Todd Howard or something. This weirdo who was trying to talk about how, he's a diddler, but he's not a monster. And the Salon website here was pushing him hard about why he's a good person. Very, very nasty website, Salon. So his whole take here is that basically this movie needs to explore why, getting your country to support the cause of World War I is a bad thing. And he goes over some of the bad stuff in World War I. And just every war has bad things. This is a stupid article. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just a waste of time. He just bickers and complains. I just really want to talk about how it's just a dumb take. And these people just see what they want everywhere. Literally jumping at shadows all the time. But the first three paragraphs are pretty funny. I'll go over these. 1917 is a movie that perfectly fits with the president's agenda, even if the filmmakers didn't intend that. I take no joy in criticizing 1917, directed and co-written by Sam Mendes. The film is well acted by stars George McKay and Dean Charles Chapman, beautifully shot by cinematographer Roger Deakins, and tells a harrowing story of heroism and survival that makes it a solid entry in the genre of war films. There is a beauty to the simplicity of its plot. Two men have to trek across a dangerous terrain in order to save the lives of 1,600 others, and time is a factor. From the sole perspective of the filmmaking craft, 1917 is worth a watch. And then, here we go. This is why you can't watch this, why you can't recommend it. Yet as I watched it, I felt very uneasy. Not for aesthetic reasons, but for moral ones. 1917, as the title indicates, for the historically well-informed, is a World War I picture. Any film set during that conflict has the responsibility to account for the horrors of nationalism, much as a film that takes place during the Civil War must account with the problems there and the problems of World War II. Okay. And then basically writes a big old long piece about why the film is bad because of, well, Trump. So there you have it. There are the big two hot takes with 1917. So far, not too many people going crazy about it. But of course, this guy right here in particular should have been a lady. Let's go ahead and just change history. And then, well, of course, the movie also had a duty to talk about the modern president of the U.S. back in 1917. Very strange, these people. I'll never get it. But it's going to be a funny year because I'm sure movies that have nothing to do with any of this stuff will be panned out and people will be going insane because it's going to be an insane year. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought about it again in the comments. No spoilers if you can. I want to see the movie. And that's pretty much it. So leave me some comments and likes. Remember, those help the video in the algorithm, so please consider interacting with the video. Also, make sure you're still subscribed. That's important. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.